Hey YouTubers, this is specially for the ladies. It's a fairly light stick. It's a little crooked. I'm going to leave it a little long just so if the shorter ladies or whatever, all you have to do is, and you're good to go. Because it's going to have an ornament on top of it, it's going to have a wrap, and it's going to have a wrist strap also. This one is going to be about pink. You're going to see me fix a hot pink and a regular pink, and I don't know which one I'm going to put on here yet, but we'll see. So stay tuned, you'll see how I do it. Well, first of all, I want to get my resin pour fixed, and you see I have laid out 4 resin ball molds. 2 of them's about the same size. This one might be a little bigger, but I have more than one laying out here. I really wanted to get one this size and one this size, but I have a couple of them here for an overflow if I have mixed up too much resin. So I have my solo cup sitting here ready. I'm going to do a hot pink and I'm going to do a regular pink, and that is kind of a light pink there. This is a hot pink. You can see a little bit of difference in them there. I'm going to have 2 different mixes here. I'm going to mix this about half full because I want to put one of them, the hot pink in one and the light pink in the other one. Then I'm going to have these 2 for overflow. I'm going to put this hot pink in here first and maybe get 2 different size balls made up of it. Let's take a look at the paracord that's going to go on this. Here's my pink wrap that I'm going to have on there. I'm going to mix this one first, and I'll put a little bigger. I don't know which size ball I want. So I'm going to use this one first because I think it matches this paracord better. And I'll lay that aside for right now. So that's the one we're going to get. What I'll do first is, I'm going to give it 7 pumps of that. This is B. I'm going to 7 pumps of B. Now what I want to do is just pour this together, and I'm getting the lid off of this powder that I'm using, and I'm going to show you that real quick. I buy this in a Rolio mica powder, and I get that on Amazon. There'll be a link down below if you want to take a look at it. And you get a nice variety of colors there, and don't take very much of it. And that kit right there will last a long time. Now I'm going to take those cups out of there and throw them over in my trash. Haven't started stirring anything yet, but what I'm going to do is put this, and I put count that as, that's a little more than 1. That's pretty heaped up, but that's 1. 2. Now I'm going to put 3 pink colors in there, and that's all I'm going to put in there. So you can see it don't take very much. We use 3 there. In the other mixture, I'm also going to put 3. So let's set that aside. We still have the other color to mix. Now I'm going to go ahead and mix this right well. I just mix it with an ice cream stick, as you see doing here. Now I'm not going to have you sitting here watching me stir for 4 minutes. So I'll be right back when I get this done. Okay, now I'm back, and I'm pouring this back out into the shot glass here. As you can see here, I am going to pour this one full. There is that one. And I take this little one now, and I'm going to pour it full. And I'm going to be able to get this one filled up, and I fill that one completely up. We're just going to set that down in our pressure pot, and we'll get it out tomorrow. Meanwhile, I'm going to mix one with the hot pink here with this other ball, and we'll get that in the pressure pot also. For those who haven't saw one of my vids before, I put a concave cut right here in the end of this stick. And how I do that is with a 1-inch cuts all bit put in here. It's a 1-inch ball. And that'll just cut that concave surface right down in there. I start it up, no talking. We'll just get it. You can see the ball right here. So you get that down to a sharp edge around the top. And you can look at it and tell it's not sharp yet. So I'm going to turn it. Pretty well done. It's a little blunt right there, so I'm going to get a little bit more. Now I'm going to call that pretty good right there. You see it's sharp all the way around that edge, and that'll look pretty good when that ball sets in there. Now I'll show you what to do next. I'll get over on the bench. Okay, now we want to drill a hole right in the center of this. If you take a small pilot hole first and eyeball that center, you can get that pretty good. So we'll get it started, and without that pilot hole, it'll kind of dance around on you. If you're better than I am, you might be able to get away without it. But I found that pilot hole really makes a difference. Now I'll just hold that in there and keep this left hand back out of the way a little bit in case your drill slips. But I'm going to go right on down in there now. Okay, there's a 1/4-inch hole right in the dead center of that. Let's put our finish on this stick because we have to have them finished before we put the ball on or before we put our hand wrap on. So keep that in mind. Next step, we're going to be right here, show you what we do with the finish. As you see here, I have my rubber gloves on because I don't want to get my hands all stained up here. So I got the rubber gloves on. I got me a halfway clean terra cloth towel, and I just got my favorite golden oak stain out here, and I'll spread that on first. I'll let that dry for a couple hours here. Now go back over here at that end, right on down, and that's about all we have to do to this. Not very scientific. You see my hook on the end there. That's for hanging it after a while when I put the poly on there that has to dry overnight. And as that's drying overnight, also my resin ball is curing in the pressure pot. So tomorrow this will be all stained and finished and ready to put the ball on and wrap the handle for completion. So now that's wiped off pretty good. I put the lid right on my can again. At least a couple hours, I'll come back and I'll put the polyurethane on it. Okay, here we are. I've had the stain on this for about 4 hours, and we're all ready to put the polyurethane on it now. And it's a water-based polyurethane, Varathane. Not that makes any difference, but any polyurethane will probably do. This one is just white in nature to look at, but it dries perfectly clear. And what I'm going to do is give it a good coat with this brush, and then I'm going to gently wipe it down with my gloves. And you see, as noted before, I already have the hook on this end, which I'll need to hang it up in my back room to let it dry. And it's going to hang there and dry till the next day. And I will be getting this 3 coats before putting the final embellishments on it. But we're going to be back soon to show the rest of this. And although it may be about 3 days later, now I'll just wipe down at one time, hang this up right in the back room. I'll leave a good thick coat on there, and we'll be back and see what it looks like. Let's open up this pressure pot this morning and see what it looks like. First, we gotta shut that air incoming off, and we'll bleed it down just like this. You can do it all at once, or now we got the pressure off of it. Now we can take the clamps loose. We have to do that, but anyway, there we go, and here we go. Now we remember we put three in there. We have them in our little mold. We have one hot pink and one two lighter pink. So let's take a look at that. Let's tilt this camera down to where we can see these. You can see me open them now. You get it over the hump there. You'll keep on rolling. Right like that. Right there. That's it. Now, that's the inside of it. Looks pretty good for the next one. Now here's the nice ball. And that is kind of a light pink. Got a little streak right there in it. That looks real nice. Now let's see what this one looks like. Roll it back just like that. Don't let it pop out and roll off in the floor. Ready for the next one. Now let's take a look at that one. That's the same mixture as this one. And quite nice. And it has a little swirl in it that I put in there by that's when you let your epoxy mixture get a little bit hard. You let it heat up, and it starts to set up where it don't pour very well. And you can put that in there, and then you mix up another batch, and while it's thin, you pour that over there, and that don't mix with the other one, so it leaves a design in there. And it should be, I believe, a little bit darker. And that didn't tear. So that's ready for the next one now. That's nice right there. See the difference in these colors. One of them's darker. This is a light pink. This is a hot pink, what I call. Now, I don't know which one we'll use on the stick, but they both fit right nice right in there, like that. And they both fit just like that. So, I don't know. And I got the bigger ball that I can put on there, and that fits on there also. So, let's just kind of see. And this is going to have to be, that fits, but that is going to have to be sanded off a little bit. Kind of holds it out of there. So let's get busy now. First, I think I'm going to tie a grip on this first. That way we can kind of look at the ball laying there, and we can see how that matches up with the paracord. I'm putting a pink paracord on that, and we'll see how it matches up. So let's reset up with the camera, and we'll get back on that. There's about 30 feet in here. I won't use that whole 30 foot. I'm going to use maybe 25 foot of that. Okay, let me show you how to wrap this. First, pull off about 2 foot of this, and you got that like that. So what I want to do is make a loop that will go down to right there. So now what I do is go up here where I want to get it started, and I hold my thumb right up there about that curve. That's where I want to get it started. I want to go right here and wrap that around. You have to wrap it a couple of times, and you're locking that loop that you got down here. You're locking that in. So what you want to do is pull that fairly tight, and then you wrap it one more time, keeping this flat, keeping that looped in flat. Now it won't be tangled here in a minute. I'm going to show you how to prevent that, and we'll pull it fairly tight again. Now we don't want it dog tight. I mean, really. You've got to have some room to pull this cord back through a little later. So let's let's just now start turning your stick like so. Still every once in a while just kind of snug it up. But what you're doing is, this is wrapping around here, that's fine. Let it coil around and finally get out of your way. So you're wanting to keep this loop here right together, straight down through there. So just keep on twisting your stick, and it's gonna make that wrap get longer. Twist it about 3 times, and then 3 or 4 times, and then take your hand and kind of push it down. So that make sure all these strands are together. Now going down 3 more times, and your paracord is not going to get a twist in it like it usually does if you go over the end. And I have wraps that has to be done that way, but this one I found, if the stick is fairly straight, it's not too aggravating. And all of mine, as crooked as they are, will usually be okay with this. And you're sitting in this V-block, so you can, that'll hold it off the table while you turn it if you use a V-block, and that lets the curve down at the bottom, it don't hit the table that way. So you go around pretty smooth. Yeah, see that hand wrap is going right on down through there. Now we want to pull it down where it's no wood showing in between. Now we go right on down here, and you see we're getting toward the end of that loop. And I have to show you what we're going to do when we get to that loop. Now what you want to do when you cut it, you want to make sure this end has got to run through that loop right there. And that loop is going to be pulled up, and that'll pull this end through. So I want to make sure that I got stuff to, about an inch or so to go through that. So let's cut that off, and I'll show you again what's left there. You don't have to worry about that fuzzing out on the end, because that's going to be pulled back under there. Let's take that now and run it right down like that. Now we'll hold it with this hand here and come up here and get this end that we left a little bit long. And we'll pull it, and you see how it did. It pulled that right up under there. It's not under there yet, but we're going to pull it a little tighter and take a screwdriver, and you'll see that we can pop that knot back over there. It'll all go back under there until you get it well on past that end. Let's get that end all the way under there. But pull that just under there like that. And we want to make this to where it don't show now. And it's all down together. I'll take a screwdriver to do that, because that's tight. So you take a screwdriver and you pull this all snug again. Right down there like that. Now, you have this line where you ended up going around there, and you can see it going under there. I pulled it up through there with this end cord right here. All that's done with your loop. Now that shows a little bit right there, but it's all under there, and that's real snug up around the top here. Got to get it started real snug around the top where that don't end up snug here. Now you have that. Now all you got to do is come up here, and we left 2 foot. We've still got plenty left, and we'll end up cutting some off. Come down and tie a slip knot now. You can tie any kind of knot you want. I tie a half hitch in it, but if you don't know what a half hitch is, well, just it goes around there, and that goes down through there the same way and comes up back like that. That looks like a half hitch right there, see? But what we want to do so it don't come loose is take a little medium CA glue, and I put a little drop right in that half hitch. just so you don't get it down into loop. It's supposed to slip. It's glued in there real good. And you have this accelerator that I keep on hand. And what that does, I don't let that glue dry by itself. I spray accelerator on it, and it's made just specially for that CA glue. Now that is dry. By gluing like that, you can cut it right on down to the knob right there if you want. Now let's go ahead and do that and see what it looks like. See, cut that off right there, and then you don't have anything sticking out, and it's right down there on your knot, and that knot is glued together so it don't come off, and you have a nice slip knot all the way down there that slips up easy on your wrist. That's the wrap for the day. I use that wrap a lot now unless I'm trying to show some sort of a exotic knot that I've come up with. Now let's take our attention back to the end of this thing, and we'll get this ball on there. We have this color pink on here. There's the big ball. Let's look at that. See how that looks. I'm gonna put a screwdriver or something up there where that don't move. Now see, I don't know, that don't look too bad right there. It's a bigger ball. It's a light pink. Goes with that pink pretty good, I think. And I don't know, there's the big ball. Now, here's the smaller ball. Like that. And that looks pretty good too. So this, I don't know, I'm torn there. But the color here is about to change. This is a dark pink or a hot pink here, right on top of that. And you can see how that goes. Let's get this camera a little closer up. Okay, how's that? Now there's your hot pink against this paracord color here. And trying to determine whether I like that better or not. I kind of do. Now here is a big one, and I'm going to turn it to show that. I don't know if you can see it or not, but there's a little design in it one side, and that's the bigger one. I think the smaller ones maybe look better, so I might use that today, but I'm not sure about the color yet here. There we go. And this one also has a little design left right in the top of it. You might see that right there. But that looks fairly good too. Let's put these both right side by side if we can get them. Well, I just don't know. I think this light pink, either one of them goes with that pretty good. Either one of them goes. That is a little more contrasting. So I think we're going to go with this dark one here. And I'll use this one at a later date. And it's nice also. But once you decide which one you're going to put on, then we've already have a hole in the end of our stick here. So what we have to do is have a 1/4-inch hole in this ball also. So let's go over the drill press and I'll show you that process. And what I've done here, took me a wood clamp that I bought off of Amazon or somewhere, and I closed it up and cut just 90 degree, or cut a box in that. You can just lay a pattern down on there and cut it, or mark it with a square, and you get your 290 degrees there to where this ball will lay, and it'll hold it right down in there. And you have this flat part here that come out of the mold. You want to have that straight up, but you can eyeball that, be close enough. And what we want to do is look down in there and make sure that's fairly straight, and that holds it right in there like that, see? Now, you want to bring your bit down to get it. You can kind of look and see. Yeah, that'll be good. So let's turn it on. 1/4 inch hole in there because we want a 1/4 inch bit there. And you see how that drills real nice. Now I want to look at it and make sure I got the 1/4 inch. Yeah, I'm satisfied there's a 1/4 inch hole there. And it comes out real clean, just like that. So let's get back over there on the bench and get that done. Now, cut me a short dowel pin here that I think might be enough to stick out here and still get into my top here. Let me check that. I'll put that right there. And with this pencil, I'm going to get down in there and mark that. And I'm also going to mark that. That goes down below that. So what I'll do, I'll glue that up in there like that. Glue that up there first. And that will make it. Because now if I look, and I can see that that bottoms out in there and leaves that crack right around the top, seeps down in there real good. That means that's not bottoming out, holding it out. Now if you get this, you can see how it fits. And you want to look and see, still pressed right down against your outer. That's why I said do a sharp edge on this end when you're getting your concave surface bored out. Get our mixture here, and you see I have a piece of cardboard. And I've told you before, get a piece of cardboard, and if it's a brown cardboard, it's a little absorbent. So I'll mix that glue on there and I'll leave it on there. It don't soak in, it soaks in a little bit. But after you get a coat of, after 2 or 3 uses, then it'll be pretty solid and won't soak in anymore. Now if you get you a painted one like this one, if it's a painted surface, then that don't soak up hardly anything either. So let's get us some mixture here. And we don't need too much. Now, red lid on a red bottle there. And we will pull this down. We want to make sure those puddles are about 50-50 in size. And that's close enough right there. That looks pretty good. So I just eyeball them. And a 50-50 mixture is what this calls for. Okay, I've got that mixed good enough. This is 5-minute epoxy, 2-part epoxy by J.B. Weld. Get it in a, what are these? These are 2 4-ounce bottles. You get them in 8-ounce sets. Pretty decent, and 8 ounces will last you a long time. Now what I want to do is, I said I want to embed that in the ball first, because almost got it. Don't want to get on the outside of that ball. I want to make sure that's quit running before I put it over there. Now look at that. I'll stick this dowel right down in there. That's the main thing. Turn this around to where it's standing up. Now you put that all around in that convex area, right up against the radius there. Take this ball and you cram the ball right down in there. I managed to do that without getting any epoxy on that ball, because that will leave a rough spot that you don't want. That ball is embedded in there and is held in there by a pin, so that's going to stay there. And it looks like it's just sitting on the end of the stick there. All that has to do is dry a little bit and we'll be done. Let's turn the camera around now. We'll review this thing, take a closer look. It looks like maybe we finished another stick, and I want to review it with you now. It's the pink ladies stick. I've got a hot pink ball on the end of it that matches the pretty pink in the hand grip here and the hand strap. Hand strap will just slip right in there. And that's loose enough. It'll tighten right up on your wrist and hold it like that. So that'll make some lady proud, I'm sure. It's about 53 inches long. Comes about right here on me. That's just a nice size. I can hold it in my arm right well there, and lady 5'2" even would be very comfortable with this one. Maybe even shorter. But that's about an inch diameter here. It's a very light stick, and there you go right there. That's all ready. Subscribe if you haven't already by clicking that subscribe button. Give me a thumbs up. That would be nice. And it'd really help me on this channel because we're going to have another giveaway soon. We get to 15,000, we're going to have a dandy. So let's keep looking for that. Hang in there with me, and appreciate your prayers for my wife. One other thing to say now is I'll see you in the next video.